Greetings and thank you for joining us at FutureMoneyTrends.com. Look, we have a mining correction going on right now, and I want to use this as an opportunity to reintroduce you guys to some of these companies where they've pulled back. I think we've got a great entry point. The company I want to talk to you today about, and the man who I want to introduce you to or reintroduce you to if you're a Future Money Trend subscriber, we first profiled his company and alerted his company to you in October of 2015, around 25 cents Canadian. Today it's around 45 to 50 cents, but it has had a pullback from the mid 60s just in the past week and a half here. But this is at a time when they've released some great news. They are actively looking to push their idea and concept and exploration forward. And I say that because this company is unique amongst all the companies we profile. And I actually have said on record that I believe this is a potential lottery ticket. It's a very unique company. I think it's a game changer for the mining sector, a potential game changer. If anybody studies or researches gold mining, you will know that exploration, the cost of exploration has gone up dramatically, and the actual discoveries has absolutely collapsed. And that is the solution, the problem that our next guest is going to likely provide the solution with his company, Nevada Exploration, which trades on the TSX under NGE and on the OTC under NVDEF. Our guest today is Wade Hodges. Wade, thank you for joining us.
Oh, thank you, Daniel. And yes, I think you set it up very nicely. I presume that your listeners are looking at this with a problem that they have, which is to try to understand from the number of companies out there, which ones should they be looking at? I mean, I feel like I spend most of my life down here in the trenches, and now and then I stick my head up above that trench. I look around and I see that macro-wise, the world is still a messy place. There's still a lot of uncertainty out there. And yes, I think that the trench that I'm happen to be in is definitely digging in the right direction. So I get back to work and go back down.
No pun intended on digging into the right direction. So for most people, this is a unique exploration play. Wade, and I'll have to put the link up, but you can actually see him featured on the History Channel, where he's using a technology and he's got the research that he's a mile ahead of everybody on this. And so if this concept is proven, which if you back test it on the other projects that they've looked at, it's got a 94% success rate. It's going to be a real game changer because roughly half of Nevada has been underexplored, to say the least. Yet, as Wade will tell you, and he's been a geologist for many decades, he's discovered about 30 million ounces of gold. There's no reason why gold's not on the other side. So, Wade, first off, for everybody who's listening to Nevada Exploration, can you let us know how do you introduce the company? How do you define the company's objective?
Well, I've been, as you said, a geologist looking for gold mines for my entire career. Have enjoyed some very phenomenal success and wanted to continue it. The problem is that the places, the tools that I had to use weren't producing the results anymore. And it's basically because you have to be able to see the rocks. And most of the rocks that can be seen have been looked at, picked over, explored on with good eyes of my peers, all good people looking very hard with a lot of money. And it's pretty well been picked over, which is part of the reason that the drop in success rate has happened. And then we see a definite increase in costs because people still believe there's gold out there, and they want to repeat the success of the past. And so investors have been opening their checkbooks, giving explorers more money, but then they see that they're not getting the results. So there's a big gap. There's a mismatch. And so people have to go back and decide, well, what's going on? Are we done? Should we give up? Well, from my perspective, 60% of the state of Nevada, which has the highest concentration of multimillion gold deposits of any place on the planet, is sitting there covered by sand and gravel. There's no doubt there are more gold deposits to be discovered. The problem is they're going to be located where you can't see the rocks. And so what you have to focus on, the root cause here of being able to move forward with confidence is to figure out a way to see beneath this ground cover. And the one medium that everybody else is aware of, but no one's really paid any attention to, is groundwater. Groundwater everywhere in this state of Nevada. Even though it's a desert, there's plenty of water in all the basins. It's just underneath the gravels, and it's in contact with the bedrock. And so chemically, it's a medium which can transmit a scent from the gold deposit that's hidden by the sand and gravel into the groundwater. If you can pick that scent up using chemistry, you can then potentially follow it back to its bedrock source. That's what we've been focused on, and that's what makes me very excited, because it's a technique that, like you say, if it does work, it'll work in a huge way.
Yeah, I mean, dramatically lowering cost of exploration and being able to find properties or find discovery where no one else is even trying to look because they perceive it as difficult. Now, just so people understand, if you went to a gold deposit right now or a discovery drill hole, and you did basically what you're doing to discover, to make a new discovery with this technology, what are the results when you reverse engineer it? When you work it backwards, is there evidence that this could find gold?
Yes, there's this started with a lot of other good people, a lot of good researchers in not just the U.S., but Australia as well as Canada. They also have a similar problem of a large area of covered rock that they believe is still hiding not just gold deposit, but a number of other kind of mineral deposits. And water chemistry has been on everyone's hit list as how do we make this work? And so reverse engineering, as you put it, is always a first place to start. You start with the known deposits, and then you see patterns around that you then extrapolate to other areas. You find those same patterns, and you've got increased odds that you're going to eventually find the source of those patterns, which is a new gold deposit. So David Grimes, for example, you mentioned the U.S. Geological Survey, 1995, came to me. I was in a position at Santa Fe where I was able to interface with a researcher, third party, that wanted to come to our new discovery at Twin Creeks and apply what he thought was a good potential new tool, water chemistry. And so he was able to document that, yes, in the 20 million ounce deposit, that there is a signature in the water chemistry that if we had used it, we could have found the deposit for less money and in less time. And with that notion, we started looking for other deposits to confirm that would work. And yes, there are other deposits that have. If you look on our website, there's a number of technical articles that go into the details of how this concept has developed. Other people that are using it, and so what we've done is actually work out some of the technical bugs of lowering the cost associated with the technology. Initially, it all sounds like a good idea, but the costs were high because things were set up to be done in a kind of a research lab. And what had to happen was we had to lower those costs. And that's what we've been able to do is consistently, routinely collect these water samples, look at that data, and now we've taken that technology, our process, and applied it to 30 odd gold deposits that are known here in the state. And sure enough, in each one of these, you do see gold and the trace metals associated with the gold deposit in the groundwater. So you have a very good basis for comparison. This is what the fingerprint, if you will, looks like in water chemistry. So the next step is to now go out into the state and to test unknown areas. Now you're searching. On any kind of a hunt, you never know how long is it going to take for you to get on the trail to find the next your next target. That's the big unknown here. Now, what we do is every day go out, we continue this hunt, we find these places that look very promising, and then we pick them up in terms of staking claims, acquiring the mineral rights. We currently have 5 of those projects. We've developed a number of others that are sitting in the wings. And so in my mind, I think of these things as like a domino that I can't control when we're going to actually tip them all over. In other words, drill that hole that connects gold in groundwater with gold in bedrock. But in the meantime, I can go out and find more of those kind of projects. Okay, so that when we do have the resources, the financing to actually drill the holes, then we can see that we have a very large area to leverage what we've developed over, which means the target, as you mentioned, the lottery ticket, the prize at the end is that much bigger.
Well, what's incredible, the way I see it, is if and when you have success on one of them, it essentially verifies the rest of them, which makes it
precisely.
It's an incredible opportunity for investors. Again, a very unique company. I would not put this in the rest of the category of our exploration plays or gold plays. This is a game-changing stock, and if you're listening to Wade. Wade has not just jumped on the story; he is the pioneer. He's been on this for over a decade, and we have the luxury of being able to partner with him on a publicly traded company when he's been working at this for a very long time, and now here we are, very close to finding out what's going to happen here with this small company.
Well, this is an important point that needs to be made. That I could easily have focused entirely on just the first project that had gold and groundwater chemistry that looked like a potential gold mine. Stopped everything to spend my life just focused on that one project to be able to drill, to prove the concept. And if I was totally successful in that one place with a big economic gold deposit, what would happen? That'd be great, Wade. You found the gold mine. And everybody, the game changer, everybody else would say new technique. They'd all come running, okay? And it'd be a stampede. And in my mind, the shareholders, the people that have believed in me for all this time, that have put their hard-earned dollars at risk, would not get nearly as much as they should have gotten, because you would not have the time to be able to go out now and to find all the other places in the state. And I guess maybe part of the answer to why does it take so long is maybe I'm just, call it greedy, because I do see that there's something here that is going to work, and I actually take my fiduciary responsibility to shareholders seriously, and I want to see them reap the full benefits. And so to that end, what I can do is take in as many of these projects that are going to be on our side of the sheet. And that also addresses the issue that, come on, Mr. Hodges, just because you found gold in groundwater doesn't mean that is necessarily going to be an economic gold deposit. It could be technical success, it could be too low grade, it could be all the other issues. The metallurgy could be wrong, be in the wrong place, environmental conditions. So yes, there's risk associated with that no one can control. Everybody else is dealing with the same sort of issues. But what we have is the ability to have a whole bunch of projects that have the right chemistry. And so the odds go up that the law of averages basically turns in our effect, in our favor. And so it's very important to have, whatever your good idea is, a large basis, a statistical basis where you can apply these concepts. And that's what we've created here.
Yeah, you guys recently had news this week, and also I got an email from you guys, I want to say a week or two ago. There's been a development. Is it in Australia with this with a major mining company?
Well, there's another group in Australia that is working along the same sort of concept, using groundwater chemistry, developing techniques. What it does is addresses the issue that people have as well. You're a pioneer, pioneers get all the arrows, and I'd feel better if I knew somebody else was actually out there beating the bushes with this too. And that's what this article does, is show that there's other people that actually believe what we're doing is also the right direction in which to dig their trenches. And it's just that it turns out when you read the article in detail and then look at what we've done, we're decades ahead. Well, not decades, but certainly years ahead of what they're doing. We're certainly thousands of samples ahead of them. We certainly have focused those thousands of samples in the best place on the planet, the smallest area that has the highest concentration per area, so the odds are in our favor there. And so compared to what they're doing, they think it's good. We've done it even further to maintain our leadership position in that space.
Yeah, and I would also note to anybody listening to this, Nevada Exploration recently received a notable strategic shareholder, one of the most successful resource investors in all of Asia. Wade, I just want to close this out here with the expectations people can have going for the next, let's say, 12 months for Nevada Exploration. Let's say they own shares or they're going to buy shares. What are your plans?
Well, yes, Mr. Tao Feng has come on board. He definitely is also an investor in the same category as a lot of your listeners. He may have more resources to invest, but he's got the same concerns and issues. And he is also trying to basically sniff out opportunities ahead of the game. There's no good to wait for proof. As soon as we get proof, like I said, it's a game changer. Everybody's going to be clamoring. And that doesn't bother me if people don't want to wait and, don't want to get on board until then. But for those people that are interested in finding the early opportunities, to sniffing out the clues, to try to piece together the story, to give them an understanding of the direction of the future, the clues are here. My job is to do the best I can to make sure everybody hears what those clues are, can see them. And to that end, I please everybody go to our website, dig through go to the presentations, figure out where the South Grass Valley one is, and go through it. Especially pay attention to slide 14. It's an excellent example of exactly the things I've been talking about, and you can see more clues. You can see the pieces for yourself. This is not complicated stuff, and get very comfortable about what the future is going to be holding. And to that end, we've had to lower the cost, to be able to effectively get a drill rig out on these targets. It's the highest cost element of all exploration. Every other company does it. So once again, we've had to do things that no other company is doing, and focus on getting our own piece of drilling equipment that allows us to be free of the scheduling issues associated with dealing with vendors that provide these services and dealing with making them lots of money at our expense. We need to own. We need to capture that means of our production. We can do it. We've done it. We've got a very unique piece of equipment we're calling the Scorpion. It's basically a drill rig that allows us to keep a very small footprint, come in under the environmental permitting issues associated with this business, which all translate into much higher costs, in our case, lower costs, so that we have the flexibility to use that piece of equipment. We can, with that small footprint, we are still able to get down to 400 plus feet. All of our projects are within that kind of depth range. In other words, bedrock can be expected to be within that kind of 400-foot depth range. At places it might be a little deeper, but that's still okay, because what we're able to do is get many more water samples in the third dimension for a lower cost, which gives us a better way to track exactly what the water chemistry is doing in a particular place for targeting purposes. It gives us the ability to actually sample the alluvium now, because there's also clues in the alluvium that can help us track back to the bedrock source. And then when we do hit bedrock, we can see, is it altered, is it mineralized, and entirely possible that this small piece of equipment could in effect make a discovery. And so the question people have to ask is, well, what else can you do? I mean, I'd rather know exactly when you're going to make the announcement, then let me know, and then I'll get on board. Well, okay, you can play that game, or you can say, 10 years, they got a lot of momentum behind this thing. Maybe now is the time, to just not bet the bank, okay, but to take a shot, as you say, a lottery ticket. That's what it amounts.
Wade Hodges of Nevada Exploration. You can buy shares on the TSX Venture under NGE and on the OTC under NVDEF. You can also learn more about them at futuremoneytrends.com/gold. Wade, thanks again for your time.
Sure, Daniel.
Released some great news. They are actively looking to push their idea and concept and exploration forward. And I say that because this company is unique amongst all the companies we profile. And I actually have said on record that I believe this is a potential lottery ticket. It's a very unique company. I think it's a game changer for the mining sector, a potential game changer. If anybody studies or researches gold mining, you will know that the cost of exploration has gone up dramatically, and the actual discoveries has absolutely collapsed. And that is the solution. Greetings and thank you for joining us at FutureMoneyTrends.com. Look, we have a mining correction going on right now, and I want to use this as an opportunity to reintroduce you guys to some of these companies where they've pulled back. I think we've got a great entry point. The company I want to talk to you today about, and the man who I want to introduce you to or reintroduce you to if you're a future Money Trend subscriber, we first profiled his company and alerted his company to you in October of 2015, around 25 cents Canadian. Today it's around 45 to 50 cents, but it has had a pullback from the mid-60s just in the past week and a half here. But this is at a time when they've really well ahead of everybody on this, and so if this concept is proven, which if you back test it on the other projects that they've looked at, it's got a 94% success rate. It's going to be a real game changer because roughly half of Nevada has been underexplored, to say the least. Yet, as Wade will tell you, and he's been a geologist for many decades, he's discovered about 30 million ounces of gold. There's no reason why gold's not on the other side. So, Wade, first off, for everybody who's listening to Nevada Exploration, can you let us know how do you introduce the company? How do you
in the trenches? And now and then I stick my head up above that trench. I look around and I see that macro-wise, the world is still a messy place. There's still a lot of uncertainty out there. And yes, I think that the trench that I'm happen to be in is definitely digging in the right direction. So I get back to work and go back down.
No pun intended on digging into the right direction. So for most people, this is a unique exploration play. Wade, and I'll have to put the link up, but you can actually see him featured on the History Channel, where he's using a technology and he's got the research that the problem that our next guest is going to likely provide the solution with his company, Nevada Exploration, which trades on the TSX under NGE and on the OTC under NVDEF. Our guest today is Wade Hodges. Wade, thank you for joining us.
Well, thank you, Daniel. And yes, I think you set it up very nicely. I presume that your listeners are looking at this with a problem that they have, which is to try to understand from the number of companies out there, which ones should they be looking at. I mean, I feel like I spend most of my life down here